Hello, everyone. I know we're slowly coming in, which is perfect. Okay. Jade, am I good to kick us off?
Yep, feel free.
Awesome. Well, hello everyone. One, thank you so much for, of course, hopping on. I know it is, late in the day on a Tuesday, but we've got a super fun and packed agenda today. We're going to be learning a little bit about Land's End, who we are, all the things. We've got, a great internship program, so we'll talk about that a little bit, and then we're going to leave some time at the end for panel discussion. And we've got a few former interns who are amazing, and who will share a little bit of their career journey and experiences. And so we've got a super fun agenda. So with all of that, I'm gonna hop in and talk about something a little less exciting, and that is myself. So my name is Trayvon. I currently work at Land's End as our early talent program administrator. A little bit about me, right? I started my career journey here as an intern. So I started as our DEI, so Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion intern, housed in our HR department. And if you ask any of my friends, I was like, look, it's a 12-week internship program. I'm in, I'm out, I'm done. And then week three, week four, week five, and I don't know when it happened, but I just absolutely fell in love with the culture, with the brand, with our mission, and just really knew that this was a great place and I wanted to be a part of it more. So went from an intern to a part-time role while I finished out my last year of school. And I got to work as our campus brand ambassador, where I got to help, our campus recruitment strategy, which was fantastic. And it's really where I found my love and passion for campus recruitment, which then led me to my full-time role as a recruiter. And so I was in that recruitment role for about a year and then just recently changed to early talent programs. So now I kind of have my hand in every bucket, which is so much fun. So I get to recruit and be on campuses, but also engage with our young professionals on campus, which is a super, super fun gig. So these pictures kind of say it all. Love my job. I love what I get to do. Some of these pictures, my job, like I said, requires a little bit of campus engagement and recruitment. So you'll see me at some fairs, sometimes just doing kind of partner visits and visiting different campuses. And then I get to help our internship and co-op program. I support both of those programs. So that's me in the zip line after we went to Bethel Horizons, which was so much fun. But I also love just, being outside. And when I get a second, I like to go outside and pick some apples at our Land's End apple orchard, which you probably hear a lot of from this group. But it's just a little bit about me. Like I said, we'll have time to kind of talk more and learn more, but a little bit about me and my role here. So let's talk about our story, right? So here at Land's End, we have been here 60 years. And that it like saying that out loud, it sounds just insane, but it has been such a fun journey. And it all is kind of founded and starts with this, right? Take care of the customer, take care of the employee, and the rest will take care of itself. That is something Gary Comer, who's our founder, said way, way back in the day. And it's really cool because it's something that we still hold true today when we're doing business. We want to take care of our customer. We want to be a solution-driven, innovative brand focused on being part of every journey for our customer. Take care of the employee, right? I talked a little bit earlier about just absolutely loving my internship experience and loving my full-time experience. And it really is the people that you work with that just make the biggest impact on your life. And then the rest will take care of itself. Just the truest statement. Take care of those two things, and everything else just has a way of working out. So, a little bit about our story. So, like I said, just celebrated 60 years. We were founded in 1963. That's when our first, catalog was published. What a lot of people don't know about us is before we were known for our iconic tote bag and all of our amazing outerwear and swimwear, we were previously a sailing equipment company. So, think ropes, think pulleys, think whatever else you would need for a boat if you were sailing. And that's what we were selling for a while. Um, and it's really funny because we talk about being customer oriented and customer first. And in true fashion, Gary was like, look, yeah, business is good, but really a lot of people are leaning towards these totes that I've got and these sailor bags and these sailor, rain jackets. So why don't I lean into that business a little bit more? Well, one thing led to another, and we, packed up shop. I always say we, like I was there during this time, but we did. We packed up shop and we moved to Dodgeville, Wisconsin, which is now the home of our corporate headquarters. So that's a little bit about that first kickoff to our timeline. A few other really cool pieces to note here. 1995, down here, landsend.com debuts. We were one of the first e-commerce retail sites. And that goes back to that innovative piece, right? Wherever our customer is, however we can support and be a solution to our customers is where we want to be. And so we were kind of one of the first to set that trend. And it's one of the really cool, proud moments to have. And then, of course, most recently, 2024, we celebrated 10 years, our 10-year anniversary on the NASDAQ. So if you look, you'll see a few of our young professionals are out there. So it's a super fun time. But yeah, it's a little bit about our timeline and just where we came from. And then just a few more pieces on our commitment to innovation. So this is that same timeline, but just kind of condensed down. So we are known, of course, for our Tuggless tank, and that debuted back in 1985. And I feel like each year it's just gotten better and better. We've got some seasoned professionals in this room that can tell you about it. But from there, of course, our Lands.com Facebook, our transition to AI-based services. Again, just some other really, really cool pieces of who we are. And then just most recently, our swimwear patent. So some cool pieces to remember. So our culture, I've hinted at it, I've talked about it, so I'll talk about it a little bit more. Of course, we're going to be committed to managing our business and involving employees in open and engaging customer driven manners, right? And all of that meaning is you get autonomy over your work. You are going to be able to own your business, own your category. You are going to be invited to the table, and often invited to also make the table, right? And that's just one of the really cool parts about being at Land's End and being an intern at Land's End. And I'd even argue a young professional at Land's End. Your opinions, your ideas, we want them. We tell our interns every year, like, you're coming in here. We don't just want you to, we're not going to have you fetch coffee, right? We're here to have your ideas. You're the future of retail, you're the present of retail and fashion. So what can we do to tap into that? So we have a culture of taking care of employees and making people feel welcome. I'll talk a little bit more about our business resource groups, but it's really cool because each and every person here, we all feel our job is belonging, right? Our job is to kind of help the next person and help the people around us. And it's one of the really cool moments that you get to have here. Our open door philosophy. Uh, there's really never been a time where I've gone to my boss with, like a question or a concern or anything, and they've just been like, "Ah, Trayvon, you're overthinking it," right? That open door philosophy is huge because we want an engaging conversation, and we want people to come with their concerns and their thoughts. And again, when we get to the panel, you'll be able to kind of ask more on this, but I think everyone on this call would agree that, our leaders are just top tier here. And then again, building relationships being just super critical to your success. Um, we always talk about like how to intern and how to intern successfully and how to be a great intern. And really at Land's End, it's all about cultivating those relationships and building those relationships. Because you'll find that sometimes you've got a question and you're like, oh my gosh, I do not know this answer, but I know someone who does. And that's going to be one of the best parts of, growing in your career. Perfect. So, whenever we're thinking about who we are as a brand and where we're going, um, we just want to continue to be the innovative solutions brand for life's every journey. You will hear us talk a lot about career journeys, but also life's journey. It's just part of who we are. You got to hear a little bit about some of our technologies and some of our solutions, and that's just something that we're extremely proud of here. So yeah, that's just a little bit about who we are. Okay, and I can't talk about anything without a shameless plug for our BRGs, which one keeps coming up as blue, but that's okay. I'm going to push through it. So here at Leon's End, we have 7 BRGs or business resource groups. These are groups that are employee-led, employee-driven, and fully here to just support you as an employee. So we've got our LEDA BRG, which is Leon's End's Employees with Disabilities and Allies, multicultural BRG, our Pride BRG, our Women's BRG, our Veterans BRG, Working Parents, and Uplift, which is all about kind of that intergenerational connection. So, with all of that in mind, we love to say that you don't have to identify within a BRG to be a part of one or to lead one. And like I said, these are volunteer groups led by employees that are taking on these volunteer leadership opportunities. People do this because they care, and people do this because they want you to learn more and they want you to develop. And so it's just a really, really cool thing to have. So with that, I've got to just brag on Land's End a little bit more and talk about a few of our awards. So you might notice one, which is right in the middle. And of course, we were, selected as one of the top 100 internship programs this past year, which is super cool. I would say number one, but top 100. And so it's super, super cool to have that, and hear a few more of our awards and that just kind of show a little bit more about, who we are and what a cool place we are to work. Okay, our program. So the big reason everyone's here. So we do have our summer internship program. I know you're like, Trayvon, that's the class of 2022. Why would you use that? Well, if you see in the bottom left corner, you'll see one of our interns down there. And also, Hannah Chambers, correct me if I'm wrong, you're on here too.
Yes, I'm in there somewhere. Oh, with the hat in the
It's
middle. So
perfect. It's perfect. So we'll talk more about our panelists, but I always love throwing that in there. It's like a Easter egg. But let's talk a little bit about some of the perks of our internship. So first off, we believe every person deserves to be paid for their work. So we do pay our interns. So all of our postings have our pay on there. We're fully transparent about it. So we do this is a paid internship experience. Because like I said, this is not an externship. This is not a job shadow. This is not a copy run, right? This is a place where we want your ideas. So we would like to pay you while you are providing your ideas. Next up, and I know that this is probably a hot topic, relocation assistance. Yes, 100% we offer relocation assistance. And so what that looks like for us, so what that looks like for us is we reimburse your miles. We pay for any food, U-Haul, or just, hotel expense that you have on the way to us and on the way back from your internship. So how we typically run that is our interns will keep the receipts and keep track of them, tell us their mileage or their miles that they drove to relocate, and then we try to get that out on first checks. So really cool process, and it's a super cool perk to have, especially as an intern. So yeah, but real work, like I said, this isn't an externship, right? We are not gonna just have you pop into a meeting and sit and just sit. When you come to Land's End, you are providing that real world experience. You are coming in and owning the business. We hold nothing back from you. So you will listen to conversations about the future of our company, about the future of our customers. You will hear the real conversations that we are having daily. And it is because you are an employee and you are a part of our team. And again, we want you to help us. We want you to come and continue to lift the company with us. So we hold nothing back from you. Networking. I think everyone on this call can definitely agree that we are in no shortage of networking opportunities here at Land's End. Whether it's our young professionals group hosting mocktail hours, or you're one of our summer interns and we're doing a social connection time, or we're going to Bethel Horizons to zip line, right? Like you are going to have so many networking opportunities. And my strongest encouragement is always to lean into those. Volunteering. we try to host at least two volunteer times during our summer internship program. Last year, we did the Clean Lake Alliances, which was really fun. We got to go and pull some invasive species, and it was just a really, really cool experience. And then buddies. So you're going to have a leader, which is going to, we call our bosses leaders here, but you're also going to be assigned a buddy. And this is someone who is fully for you to talk about Madison, to talk about being a young professional, to talk about being an intern, to talk about life, to talk about whatever you would like to talk about, truly. I have been gotten to be a buddy for the past 2 years, and each time it's been super fun because, I kind of let my intern decide what they want to talk about and how we want to navigate the relationship. But each time it's been such a cool experience. But we know that, one, going into the corporate world sometimes can seem intimidating, right? And we also know that moving to a new city and all of these different changes, it can be a lot to handle. And so we want to make sure that you've got someone to just connect with who's outside of your reporting structure. And a huge plus to this buddy is that they are also typically a young professional, and they are also typically a former intern. So it's really cool to kind of have someone who understands this exact path and this exact timeline, and who you can really connect with. Leader roundtables. Going back to that no shortage of networking, we have done a really great job of not just inviting leaders to the table, but sometimes the leader saying like, "Hey, I want to connect with the interns. When can I do it?" So as an intern and as a young professional at Land's End, you get invited to a lot of our senior leader roundtables. So we invite people director level and above, to come in and share their career journey, their experiences, but also to share some words of advice, some words of wisdom. What can we do currently in our roles and what we're doing, to help move the business forward? And it's such a cool experience. And then book club. We want to get you connected. We want you to get to know each other. And sometimes breaking the ice can be hard. So we have traditionally done book clubs to kind of get people connected and sparked. And then we've also got our final group project, which it is our favorite time and our scariest time as interns, but you get 4 weeks. It's the last 4 weeks of your internship. You get 4 weeks to work with your group. You get a business sponsor. You get a prompt, which is a real world thing in the business that we are currently trying to solve. And you have 4 weeks to do the research, to dig into the data, to become the subject matter experts. And at, the last week, we have a presentation where we invite our whole company, which sounds a little scary, and our senior leadership team loves this project, so they will happily be in attendance. And you get to present your answers to this prompt, right? You get to tell us where we need to drive the business and what we need to do next. And the coolest thing about this is it's not just busy work. Like I will happily say, as someone who was an intern and now has gotten to see a few of the projects, it is so cool to kind of slowly watch some of the things from your project be implemented. I did my project, what, 2 years ago? Oh, it sounds so weird saying that, but about 2 years ago. And it's so cool now to kind of say, oh, like I remember talking about that and saying we needed to do that, and look at us now. And so we do use these ideas and these thoughts. Um, yeah, so that is a little bit about our program. I am going to do something that's really hard for me, and I'm going to stop talking. And I'm going to do that so we can introduce our amazing team, that is also here with me, to introduce themselves and talk a little bit about their career journey, their path, and also just, I mean, their amazing selves. So I'm gonna kick it off with Emily.
Yay! Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Lurkey. I graduated from Illinois State University this past May. And immediately after, I started as a women's apparel merchandising intern this past summer. I cannot speak so highly about this program, especially from a merchandising perspective. I knew that merchandising was something that I wanted to go into, and especially to career. And this internship has truly set me up for my career. I've done so many projects that have helped me just kind of learn the industry and truly become a merchant. Some of my ideas were actually fully implemented into products and into lines in our apparel, which is crazy. Like as an intern, you wouldn't necessarily think that, oh, your opinion matters, but like it's crazy to see like I just had said something in passing to my leader and she was like, that's a great idea. We're actually going to do that. So yeah, great. I've made so many amazing friendships through this program as well. My friend Taya in the bottom left there is one of my good friends from the program. We talk almost daily. Um, Again, truly, like Trayvon said, the networking you get is truly so important. One of my favorite events actually as an intern is we got to network with higher ups. So our senior leaders and our CEOs and everything. And it was really cool to be able to just chat with them on more of a casual basis and really kind of learn from them and their experiences. And so after my internship, I, pretty much from day one, I was like, Trayvon, I am a senior. Please give me a job. So I, luckily I'm now an assistant merchant for retail. So a little bit differently. So I basically assort the line that is going to be in our stores for menswear. So that's super fun. If you ever are near a Lands' End store, check it out. You might see some of my work. And yeah, anything that I'm missing?
That was perfect. That was
Cool.
perfect. No, I mean, and Emily is fantastic as she knows, but is also just killing it. So great job.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, next up, we've got Bernadette.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I'm here to talk about the graphic design programs here at Lands' End for internships. And as you can see on the screen, I was from the class of 2018. Hard to believe that was, 6 years ago? Wild. I really loved the internship. It really helped me catapult my career, to be honest. I learned so many valuable design skills that I was able to apply to the real world at Land's End. I interned in the internet creative department. However, I will say that our design programs, they focus on both catalog and digital design, if that's what you're into. So you really get a good eye for different types of design, and you also get to dive right into designing emails, catalog spreads, you name it. And it's really all that practice, right? That really helps you build your skills. And it's stuff that you'll really take with you as you move throughout your career. And if you're lucky like me, you get to become an associate graphic designer and then one day a graphic designer. I'm currently with Lands and Outfitters, and for those of you who don't know, we also have a business where we sell clothes with logos on it. We also outfit companies with their own uniform programs and whatnot, so making custom clothing for them. Super exciting stuff. So I highly recommend that you apply to this internship program. It is so much fun coming to Madison, Wisconsin if you haven't been here before. There's so many cows, so much cheese, so many things to do. I mean, I think everyone can agree, and we're all Midwest nice, pretty for the most part. Um, yeah, it. I can't recommend it enough. It's wonderful, isn't it, Trayvon?
It 100% is. And Bernadette, I think we just need to swap roles. You have my job now because that you sold it. You sold it.
Oh, good, good. I mean, like looking at the one of the bottom photos, it says Land's End. We spelled Land's End with our bodies, and then we had a drone take a picture up from up above. So, you get to do that too. You get to hold some bags. You can see us holding some tote bags. We also went to Bethel Horizon, which is a really fun outdoor like obstacle course. You get to go ziplining. That's scary and fun. Everyone at Land's End will really make you feel welcome. Truly, I think that's one of the best things about our culture as a company is that we just welcome everybody with open arms, and we can always feel free to ask anyone, a question if we don't know what the answer is. And Yeah, we're excited that you're here. Thank you for joining us tonight, guys.
And, Bernadette said it, Emily said it. It really does all go back to the people, right?
It's
Um,
it's it's wonderful. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm glad you talked about the zip line, Bernadette, because next up we've got Love, who who also got to go to Bethel.
Yeah, when the Bethel did not do the zip line. Missed me with that. But it was really fun. They had other team building experience where you get to do underground activities, which I highly recommend because your foot is still touching the ground and that's good. But you just get to really connect with your teammates and get to know each other more. But anyway, and lots of cows, Bernadette. Yeah, so much cows. But hi, I'm Love Siafa. I was the sweep design intern with Emily. We interned in the same class together. It was really, 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 really awesome. I loved every second of it. Like Trayvon, I was a little skeptical coming here because, it's Nashville. And I was like, yeah, after this, that's it. I'm just gonna go back to Illinois, where I'm from originally. But then once I got here, the experience was just so, so, so amazing. So a little about me, I just graduated this past May from Columbia College, Chicago, where I majored in fashion studies and I concentrated in product development. And so when I came over here, I interned for swim design. But during my internship, I started to, which like just echoing Trevon and Emily here, the networking opportunities are so amazing here. I started to talk to people from other departments, set up meetings on my own. I was like, what the heck? Who am I? But just getting to know people from other departments and trying to figure out what I really want to do because I love design, but I think what I also realized I loved was product development and just understanding where our garments are coming from, like what's going into it and whatnot. So talking to people, talking to Trevon, I finally landed a role in sourcing. So now I'm the assistant sourcing manager for like three categories. We do dresses and men's and women's woven tops. And it's one of the best decisions I could have ever made because it's just so amazing. And the people here are just really focused on your career development. Like you're doing a job clearly, but they're also like want you to excel in what you're doing. Like if you're an assistant, you want to make sure that you have all the necessary resources and tools to take you to the next step. It's very clear that, yeah, you're an assistant now, but we want you to know that you're going to move up. You're going to have so many opportunities. So I'm going to make sure I give you the resources that you need. And that's what I've been experiencing. It's been so, so, so amazing. I really enjoyed this internship. Did not think I would, but yeah, like Bernadette said, please apply. It's really great here. We love you here and we want you to come. And also, I'm a photography enthusiast. Nowhere near as cool as Adrienne. I don't know if you have met her, but you will. She's really good at it. And I've managed to keep four plants alive for a whole year. So I have to brag about that. That's why it's here. Thank you. But overall, I've only been here for a short time and already I feel really involved in the company culture. And I think that's one thing I would say about Lansing is you really get involved. You get to know people. You're part of a community. You're not just going to work and clocking out at the end of the day. You stay involved, lots of opportunities to just, grow if you want to.
Love, I think you said it best, and I'm glad we both had that initial 12 weeks in out. But then you get here and you're like, but I love it. You just lean into it. All right, Hannah, I think you're next. If I can do this.
Thanks. Hey everyone, thanks for joining tonight. My name is Hannah Chambers. I was an intern at Land's End in 2022 with Trayvon. I interned in the technical design department. So if you're not familiar, it's basically like the next step after designing the product. The tech designers kind of make the vision come to life. So I interned with the swimwear design team, tech design team. And then after that, I went back to school. I went to college at Kent State University, And then I came back. So now I work full time at Land's End as an assistant bottoms designer. So now I design the product, and it was literally the best decision I could have made. Um, I was also in a position where I loved my internship, but it was a great opportunity for me to be like, okay, I love this, but what else is there in the company? And so, like we've all been mentioning with networking, I met some of the designers while I interned, and I was like, yeah, this is what I'm meant to be doing. So I connected with them, and then I kind of kept those relationships going as I went back to school. And yeah, so now I work on women's denim on the bottom left photo. That was one of the designs that I worked on recently. So yeah, I just can't speak highly enough about this program. I absolutely love the team that I work with. The people at Land's End, as we've all been saying, just make the biggest difference. I feel so welcomed here. I still talk to people every day from my internship, and it was 2 years ago, which is crazy. And I, get to go to work every day and be creative and be a designer, and it's just amazing. So happy that you guys are all here, and happy to answer any questions too.
I truly love it. And, I think you all hit it right on the head, right? It comes down to relationships at the end of the day. It comes down to that networking. It comes down to leaning into the experiences. And, though we all just hit that on the head, I know that there are probably some questions from the crowd. So what I'm going to do is switch us on over, and just give us a moment to have a little panel discussion. Just to give everyone a heads up, we kind of covered a little bit about the program and all the things. And now, if you've got any questions, I think we're going to use the raise hand feature, if that's available. I don't know if it is, but we might also just go ahead and use the chat feature. So I'll keep an eye on the chat.
Trevon, sorry. I think there's also a little section for Q&A. I don't know, so I think
Perfect.
we
You can look
should
at that one.
see that already.
I think you're 100% right. Yes, we're going to submit them in the Q&A. Sorry about that. I'm just leading us wrong here. Here we go. We've got it open. Okay, so we said um gun. Okay. Don't want to jump the gun before you all go over the types of internships available. This is from Darlene, sorry. But are there graduate internships opportunity as well? This one I can take. Um, all of our kind of graduate level internship opportunities will specifically have it within the job description. So I definitely, kind of recommend going in, taking a look at all of our opportunities, and look at that job description. It'll be kind of in the first or second line, and it'll say like master's preferred for those graduate opportunities. But great question. Okay. I guess we can kick it off. Um, if everyone wants to kind of kick off with what's one of your biggest pieces of advice for college students who are going into these interview processes, kind of unsure about that next step. Um, what's your biggest piece of advice? And Love, you can kick us off since your mic's already off. I just saw you and it connected.
I was trying to turn it off, but sweet. I would say, especially when you're going into the interview process or part of getting the internship, is come excited. Don't be afraid to share about yourself. It is an interview. So, and don't be afraid to ask questions about the job. Ask the person who's interviewing you, like, what am I to expect if I do accept a role here? Because remember, it is an interview. So they're not just there to talk about you. You also want to talk about the company to ensure that you're interested. And just share what's going on with you in school, what your interests are. because this internship, although it's for maybe you may apply for a specific role, like I did in swim design, but you never know where that opportunity could take you. So share what you're excited about, what you have going on in your life, and you never know where that would take you. And another thing I would say is attend all the career fair that your school is hosting. Those are awesome. That's how I met Trevon, and that's how I applied for this internship. Those are a pain, I know, but I promise you, just go there. You never know. And just, be willing to network because the beauty of the fashion industry or any business is networking. You can't escape it. It's just how you get along in a corporate world. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
That's great advice, love. To echo what you said, I agree. Bring that passion to your interview. I can remember my interview back in 2017. Holy cow. I brought my whole like portfolio with me, I think, in a really giant bag. And I was like, look here. Do you want to see my CD design? Do you want to see this poster? And they were like, wow, she really wants this. Like she has fun with this. So just be yourself. And you know, you just never know what's going to come out of it, so you may as well apply and give it a go, because you won't regret it. It'll be great. But yeah, don't be worried about the interview process because we make it really fun. We ask you about yourself, we have a good conversation, and of course we talk about the company as well, so you can't go wrong.
No, literally.
I would say my biggest piece of advice is to definitely hone in on any kind of classwork and projects specifically that are going to kind of relate to the role. So, for example, being a merchandising major, going into the role, I knew that I would be looking at sales. I would be looking at, trend forecasting. And so kind of having that in mind, like, for example, I took a retail math class and that was asked in my interview of, oh, do you have retail math skills? Can you speak to this kind of thing? So just kind of being knowledgeable about like, what you've done at school and like what the internship is going to kind of not require you to do, but the experiences that you'll have. And obviously, like, not everyone's perfect. I obviously didn't come in knowing all the answers to merchandising, and I definitely learned a lot, but just kind of, have those things in the back of your mind of, oh, like I did a project on tech design. So maybe if I wasn't necessarily like wanting to go into merchandising, I could also still speak to tech design kind of thing. So just kind of those things and just kind of being aware of like how your work and everything will like correlate to an internship experience.
Just to echo that, I think I agree with everything you guys are saying, and I second all of that. I would also say when you're interviewing, I'm just thinking like in the design world, but I think that this would apply for other, majors, other jobs out there. But just being open-minded to learning new things. Like, we know that you're an intern and we know that you're not going to know all the answers to everything. This is like it might be your first real job experience. So it's just having that open-mindedness to, learn new things and having that wide perspective. Because yeah, when I was an intern, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, this is all so new to me. And you have that school background, but having that passion and having the passion for the brand and just showing that you really want to be there and show up. And also just showing up to the in-person job fairs like you guys mentioned. I don't think I would have went with Land's End if I wouldn't have talked to people. And like what you guys are doing right now is amazing. So you're already ahead of the game. Putting yourself out there and talking to people in the industry and getting to know people that could be your mentor. I think it's all great steps to getting the job. So
Could not have said it better myself, truthfully. You're hearing it from the experts. So please, keep your questions, Kevin, in the Q&A. But also just, soak in every ounce of knowledge. Okay. One, And Hannah, you can tell me, can you see the Q&A box that I've got on my screen? If not, it's totally fine.
I
Yeah.
don't see it on your screen.
Okay, perfect. Well, no problem. Well, one question. This is from the Q&A box. Um, what strategies can I use to make my resume? And I'm just going to add, and interview stand out during the process. Uh, so do with that what you will.
Ooh, as a graphic designer, there are plenty of tools out there like Canva and even templates in Word that you can use that will polish up the look of your resume. If you just make it look cohesive, of course, proofread it, make sure everything um, is neat and concise. That will really help give your resume a leg up. Of course, including any relevant positions or information for recruiters to look at will help them place you in an interview that's right for you. So that's what the graphic designer here has to say. Is like you make it look pretty. Take 2 extra minutes and make it look a little bit prettier.
Yeah, and I second that, Bernadette, because she's the graphic designer, obviously. But because it's just a paper that the recruiter is looking at, you want to make sure you have enough about yourself on there because, again, they're not seeing your face, they don't know who you are, just your name. So the more information you have, and more information don't mean like just put every single experience you have, like when you were a cashier at, if that's your only job, of course, add that there. But if you have a lot. You don't need to add every single thing. I will also encourage you to add your class experience, like projects you do in school. Those are also really good. They want to see that okay, yeah, what you're doing in school is also relevant to the position that you are applying for. But like she said, make it more personable, make it fun, but also keep it professional. Yeah.
Yeah, you said it, love.
Yeah. I mean, going off of that, I actually am a very like regular schmegular resume. Like the much information as possible. So if you're involved in a lot of clubs in college, really involved in your major, I had my classes, like relevant classes that were listed. So like I said, like my trend analysis, my retail math, I even had like a study abroad on there because it was, it's relevant. So just make sure that, I mean, again, kind of going back to that interview process, it's going to be relevant to the specific position because not every internship is going to be the same, for example. So, like, for example, I applied to a few internships here and there, and every single resume and every single cover letter I had was different and specific to that role and to that company. So, just kind of keep that in mind when you're applying and everything, to just kind of, I guess, make it relevant to what you're applying for.
To add on to that, I would say, like, from my design background, for any of you in the chat, in the meeting, that are doing anything with a portfolio, because that was kind of my resume when I applied for the job, I would say make sure, I mean, you can condense it to make it your best work. And then, yeah, I think it's really nice to make it relevant to Land's End too, a little bit applicable to the company, showing that you would be a good fit based on your previous work. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's really good advice, Hannah. If you're going for the graphic design internship too, portfolios are really important.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, your school career program will have people who can help you set up your portfolio if you want. So, wait, my camera's not on. Don't be afraid to ask them for help also. I remember I taught my career service people like every day when I was actively looking for an internship. They also have like templates for resumes, so you can also just use whatever they have and just put in your information accordingly. But your school already have so much resources that you just have to, tap into.
Great advice.
I mean, the four of you guys together can just write a book, honestly. I mean, please, and I would be the first to buy it. Um, So our next question, I think it's really good. Um, what makes a great intern? What qualities or skills just make a great intern? I think all four of you are signs that like you can have a strong internship, experience and it turns into that full-time position. So kind of what are your tips to succeeding in being an intern?
I'm gonna say don't be afraid to ask questions. There would be times where I would literally have to ask my leader and be like, what is gross margin? So it's just kind of those like dumb questions that I would have, but like, I felt comfortable enough to ask them to her. And she, I mean, obviously was great in answering my dumb questions. And also not being afraid to network with anyone and everyone. So in some different departments, again, like merchandising, you're touching every single aspect. So you're touching tech, you're touching sourcing, you're touching design, you're touching planning and allocation and retail. So it's like you have to be able to network with everyone, just even from, I mean, a basic standpoint, kind of get to know them in your day to day, and it just kind of it gets your name out there more. Like, for example, I made that one of my goals was to network with as many people as possible, because if I were to leave, people would remember me as a fun intern, and don't be afraid to really kind of let your personality shine either. Like, no, like just be outgoing. And I know that's like easier said than done, but like just give it all you got. You're gonna get out of this what you put in. So really just kind of, bring it home.
Bring it home, exactly. Yeah, really just show up every day, try your hardest, ask those questions, the silly questions. Now more than ever is the time to ask those questions. Will just everyone will have it some I shouldn't say everyone will have an answer. It depends what you're asking. But everyone will do their best to help you as an intern is what I'm trying to say. um, and just your dedication really will shine through, and Emily's right, people will remember you. For example, after my internship, I actually moved away for a bit, and then I wanted to come back because I love Wisconsin and I love Land's End so much. And lo and behold, they did remember me and they wanted me back, and I'm happy to be here. So you never know what impression you're going to make, and networking really is key. So even if that's just saying like, hey, how are you, I heard you do this, can you show me a little bit about what you do in a day, people are happy to show you what they do. So that's my 2 cents.
I would say my biggest advice on what makes a great intern is not being afraid to like want to do something else. If you're applying for an internship and you're like, okay, this is what I think I want to do, this is what I majored in, and you see something else and you're like, okay, I'm curious about this. So this is what happened to me. And I would just say be open to seeing the company and seeing all different perspectives, because what Emily said, what you put in is what you take out, and just like soaking up all the roles and all the people. I majored in fashion design, interned in tech design, and I was like, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I accepted that, and I'm like, thank God I found out when I was interning. And yeah, it was like I wouldn't change it for the world, and I gained so much information from that internship that like helps me now. So not being afraid to be like, okay, I'm curious about this other job too that's in the company, and I want to learn more about it, and maybe I'll shadow them. So yeah, soaking it up.
Yeah, I would say your willingness to learn is one of the best traits you could bring to an internship. Just be open to learning, like come as a student, even though you are doing real work here, but you're also a student. So treat it as a class and ask questions every time. Don't be afraid to ask questions where you think maybe like Emily was saying, asking about what's a gross margin, because what is a gross margin? What do you mean I'm new? Like, I don't know what that is. And we have so many acronyms here at Lensens. You struggle to keep up. So don't be afraid to ask those questions. And like Hannah was saying, try to get involved with the other departments in the company, because that's also how I got the role I'm in now. I was a design intern and I love design, but I could not do that, you know. So I switched over to sourcing, and that was through networking and talking to other people in the company and with the help of Trayvon as well. So just come willing to learn, be a student first and foremost, and you will get the best out of this experience.
You are truly hearing it from the experts. I'm gonna pick on Love and Emily for a second. Um, Love, Emily, there are, of course, some seniors in this call, right? And you both remember what it was like to be a senior, and then you
Mhm.
have this strange guy come up to you and tell you that you should come intern at Land's End right after you graduate. So just what's some advice that you have to those seniors that might be a little reluctant to hopping into an internship after graduation?
Mm-hmm. I would say just give it your all. You really don't know where you're going to end up. I pretty much knew from the moment the moment I interviewed with Trayvon, I was like, this is where I want to be. So, and I went through a few other interviews after that. And as I was kind of going through the process and getting to know other merchants, I was like, no, like I really want to be here. Because again, it is kind of scary, like, you know, especially being a senior, it's like, great, I'm here for 12 weeks and then I gotta go live home with my mom. Love that. So I also kind of knew that wasn't necessarily something I wanted to do. So and just being very open and vocal to especially Trayvon and Adrian, they kind of run our internship program. And like I said, kind of from the start, like I want a job here. And luckily the pieces kind of fell into place. The girl who was in my position previously had left, and Trayvon was like, hey, I have this amazing opportunity for you. What do you say? And I was like, yes. So, you know, it's just one of those things to really just kind of be open and vocal about what you want. And kind of to Hannah's point earlier, um, you know, if it's something you're not really wanting to do, like let's say you're a tech design intern, but you're like, no, my heart is really with sourcing, then, you know, this program is nice and allows you to be able to shadow and kind of switch that up. And I guess my biggest piece of advice is to not be scared to do an internship as a senior, because either way, it's going to be great experience, whether you're here for 12 weeks or the rest of your life. So yeah.
I think Emily said it all. If anything, I would say I recommend getting an internship as a senior, because like that's the next step into your career. These companies, when if they're recruiting, they're usually actively recruiting after the internship process. So once you're already in, not saying that you're already in, but once you're already in, it's easier. You know what I mean? It's easier to just have an entry level role as a senior. Like after your internship, you can, like everyone has been saying, once you're networking, even if you don't end up staying at that company, you have a very recent, work experience that you can have on your resume to say, oh, I just interned at this company. Then let's say if you interned during your junior year, that was like 2 years ago. You know what I mean? So I would recommend doing it at your when you're a senior, because you're still fresh, you're getting right out there and you're ready to get into the work environment. It's a little scary because like Emily said, it's just 12 weeks and you're like, what's gonna happen next? You might get a job. That's what will happen next. Or you may decide that I think I know what I want to do with my life now. That's in the corporate experience.
That was fantastic. I always think that I've mastered like, technology and then I have to find the unmute button. Bernadette, Hannah, any final, I think we're cutting close to time, but any final just tips, tricks, advice to this amazing, amazing group before we wrap?
I would say if you're on the fence about it, you're not sure, maybe you live far away from Wisconsin and you're like, I don't know if I want to move somewhere for 3 months. I would say you can do anything for 12 weeks, especially if there's Culver's. If you don't know what that is, please look it up. Their butter burgers are delicious, fast food, and rolling hills of greenery and cows. And just, I think I've said cows 3 times, but hey, once you're here, you can't stop pointing them out when you see them, and we'll make you feel right at home.
I would say to anyone that we didn't answer questions to, I think we could, after this, still respond since we're running out of time, because I know I'm seeing a lot. I agree with what all of you guys are saying. Like looking back, even the internships outside of the company that I took and maybe was like, no, that's not for me. This place isn't for me. I'm so glad that I did them. And I think you guys will love this brand, the people, and it's a great opportunity to just get your foot in the door into the industry and getting that work experience. So yeah, we're here to support you guys if you have any more questions that we can answer on the chat, I think. And yeah, feel free to reach out too. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I can do a quick wrap up. I think I was trying to get a broad sense of some of the questions. In terms of who is eligible to apply, I always say go ahead, apply. Like if when our recruiters go in, they will work directly with you, whatever your employment needs are, right? So if you see a role you're interested, and you feel it's a good fit, go ahead and apply. I know there have been a few questions about remote opportunities. Each of our roles are kind of categorized as hybrid or remote, and they do share a work location as well. So if you're in our, Dodgeville headquarters, right? Then you're hybrid. Then you'll have that kind of, hybrid work schedule, which your recruiter will walk you through. But if you're categorized as remote, then you can kind of have that flexibility as well. So those are kind of those differentiations there. In terms of the buddy program, I know there was one question there, and I did want to hit that one. Super good. So, our buddy program is amazing. Whether you are a remote intern, a hybrid intern, etc., you were placed in it. All of our interns are going to have a buddy. It's a super cool program. I loved being on the other end of the buddy program, and now I love being on this end as well. So highly, highly recommend it. I want to make sure I cover everyone. In terms of our freshmen that are in the room, one, thank you for being here. I remember when I was a freshman, I was like, I'm never going to those things.
Thanks
So
ahead.
thank you. Thank you for being here. What I always tell my freshmen is this, right? Take this summer to really just gather what you want. Get that experience. This is your time to kind of, do that networking, those initial connections. I remember being a freshman and being like, I want an internship yesterday. Um, but take your time and really figure out some of the things that you want. From there, just kind of elevate it so that once you get to that sophomore year, you're ready to hit the ground running. Um, and then, kind of interview processes. It's different for each role. But you can kind of gather as you'll start off with a kickoff call with one of your recruiters, and they will talk to you about screening process and all those amazing things. And then from there, you'll typically have a conversation with a hiring manager, maybe two, depending on the role. And then from there, we like to say final decisions take us about 2 weeks to process after that. And your recruiter will stay in touch with you throughout that process. I tried to cover most of them. The rest, I think we can kind of answer as we log off. But thank you everyone for coming. Jade, if I'm missing anything, please let me know. But thank you everyone for coming. Please make sure to check out our internship programs, landsend.com/jobs, and definitely get in there and look at our programs. You've got to hear it here, right? All of these people, I mean, are logging on after work, to come and talk to you about how great this program and how great this place is. So please, please take a look. If you feel you're a good fit for a role, apply.
Apply.
Yeah, the worst that can happen is we say, hey, not this year, try again next year, right? So please go ahead and apply.
Even
Um,
if you apply like 2 weeks later, like I did. Not even 2 weeks. I think I applied like a whole month after, but still do.
But
Yeah,
we did it. We
Yeah,
did it. We
exactly.
did it.
And
still
here
do it.
you are.
Yeah. And I think I tried to answer some questions in the Q&A, but I think someone was asking if you can apply for multiple roles. I thought that was some.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You can definitely apply for multiple roles. I promise we are not going to look and be like, oh, Trayvon applied for 3 roles. He's out. Like, no. If you feel like you're a good fit, apply. But definitely apply for things within reason, right? If you are a comp sci major and you are like, I'm applying for the merchandising role, I might be like, oh, like help me understand. But definitely apply within reason, but apply for roles that you think you're a good fit for. All right. We're at 7 o'clock. I want to respect everyone's time. Thank you so much. Please have a fantastic, fantastic night. And remember us on the next step of your journey.
Thanks, guys. Have a good
Bye.
day.
Have a good night.